thermal expansion, right? So I think as we know that the size of the most of the substances expands, right? Substances like solids, liquids and gases increases on heating and decreases on cooling. The definition I am saying it again. The increasing of size of an object, right? The object may be solid, liquid or gases. Clear? So increasing in size on heating is nothing but expansion. Decreasing in size on cooling is nothing but contraction, right? The three states of matter: solids, liquids and gases. So whenever if we provide the heat to the substances, those substances gets expand, right? And those bodies regains its size by cooling. Clear? Solids, linear, aerial and cubical expansion is possible, whereas for liquids and gases the cubical expansion only, right? So then what is linear and what is aerial and what is cubical expansion? Let's going to discuss now. So before that, it shows all the three types of expansion. So what are the three types of expansion? First one is linear expansion. What is linear expansion? Linear expansion is nothing but the expansion is possible in lengthwise. That is linear expansion, right? So next one is aerial expansion. This aerial expansion is also nothing but superficial expansion. What is superficial expansion? Area. So the expansion is possible in area wise. What is area? Length into breadth. The change in length into breadth and that expansion is nothing but or contraction is nothing but aerial expansion or aerial contraction or superficial expansion or superficial contraction. And third one, cubical. This cubical expansion is nothing but volume. This cubical is nothing but volume. Volume expansion. Right? So, volume. So, length into breadth into height. Right? If all the three length, breadth and height changes, and that is nothing but cubical or volume. Only area, length into breadth, that is nothing but aerial or superficial. Linear expansion, the changing in length. Expansion, here we are discussing about expansion only. That is by providing the heat, the substances expands. That is the major important point. Right? And this thermal expansion of solids is possible and it is advantageous in riveting the metal plates. So the advantages of thermal expansion is possible in most of the cases, so many cases, but a few examples are riveting metal plates, right? So while joining the metal plates with the rivets, so thermal expansion is possible. Rail tracks are placed, so in between the track to track joint there must be some gap. The gap is provided because as we know that substances expand on heating on summer days. If the gap is not provided, so if you fix that two substances very close to each other without providing any gap, so that in summer days the temperature is more, so this substances receive the temperature heat, so that it expands. So it increases in size in this way and it increases in size in this way, so that it causes the breakage of the rail track, so it causes damages. Next, to fix a rim to a wooden cart of the wheels, bullock carts. So to the bullock cart wheels, at the end they provided iron rim, that is possible with the help of this thermal expansion. Next, electric transmission lines. So as we know that these are the poles. In between these poles, the wires are laid, right? So those wires are provided with some sag, right? This loop. This is nothing but sag. If we fix that very tightly like this, so in summer seasons there is no problem, because the object receives the heat and it expands, so that it may expand like this. But in winter seasons we already fixed it very tight, so that in winter seasons, as we know that substances contract on cooling, so these wires get contracts and there is a breakage at any point. Next, bimetallic strips like fire alarms, thermal switches, automatic switches, on and off switches. So the automatic on and off switches are working on the principle of thermal expansion. So these are the examples of thermal expansion of solids, right? Next, so finally we will discuss about the other three types of expansions: linear expansion, superficial expansion, cubical expansion, right? The thermal expansion of a substance in one dimensional, that is in length only. Clear? Is nothing but linear expansion. The thermal expansion of a substance in two-dimensional is nothing but superficial expansion, that is in length into breadth. The thermal expansion of substance in three-dimensional, that is length into breadth into height. In all the three cases, it is, if the expansion is possible, then it is nothing but thermal expansion. So there is no other name for linear expansion, because it increases in only length. Superficial expansion is also nothing but areal expansion, and cubical expansion is also nothing but volume expansion. So that we can say it as a length expansion. Clear? And the increasing length, that depends upon the three cases. First one is the increasing in length on heating. Increasing length, let's say initial length is equal to L1, right? And final length is equal to L2. Clear? So increased length is equal to L2 minus L1. That is the increased length, right? Initial temperature is equal to T1. Final temperature is equal to T2. Change in temperature is equal to T2 minus T1. Change in temperature is equal to T2 minus T1. Therefore, the increased length, that means change in length, increased length is nothing but change in length, is directly proportional to the original length, and change in length is directly proportional to the change in temperature. Clear? So by combining these two, 1 and 2, so change in length is directly proportional to the original length into change in temperature. Clear? So here I am replacing this directly proportionality and placing a constant. That constant is nothing but, so I am making this as an equation. So L2 minus L1 is equal to, here it is a symbol of directly proportionality. Now I am placing a constant for this is alpha. Is alpha into L1 into T2 minus T1. L1 into T2 minus T1. So the change in length is equal to alpha into L1 into T2 minus T1, where alpha is the proportionality constant and this alpha is nothing but coefficient of linear expansion. So from this I am writing the formula for alpha. Alpha is equal to, right, here L1 and L2 are in product, L1 and T2 minus T1 are in product with alpha, so send those two terms to left hand side, so that becomes division with L2 minus L1 by L1 into T2 minus T1. Important formula. Clear? All the equations are similar to the superficial and cubical expansion, but here the coefficient of expansion may change, right? Superficial expansion, initial area is A1, final area is A2. So the change in area is equal to A2 minus A1, and its initial temperature is T1, final temperature is T2. So the change in temperature is T2 minus T1. So that the change in area A2 minus A1 is directly proportional to the original area. That means depends upon the area, original area of the object, the change in area occurs. If original area is small, then the change in area also small. If original area is very huge, then the change in area is also big. Right? And change in area A2 minus A1 is also directly proportional to the change in temperature. That also depends upon the temperature. If temperature is small, then small amount of area increases. If temperature is high, then the more amount of area possible, increasing in more amount of area. So from these two I am writing this change in area A2 minus A1 is directly proportional to A1 into T2 minus T1. Right? Here I am replacing this directly proportionality and making this it as an equation, so that I am placing a constant, so that A2 minus A1 is equal to, clear, beta into A1 into T2 minus T1. So in previous case I replaced this directly proportionality with alpha. Here alpha is nothing but coefficient of linear expansion, whereas in this case I am replacing this directly proportionality with beta. Here beta is nothing but coefficient of superficial expansion, or beta is nothing but coefficient of areal expansion. From this equation I am writing the formula for beta. Beta is nothing but coefficient of superficial expansion. Beta is equal to, here A1 and T2 minus T1 are in product with beta. So send these two terms to the left hand side. So these two terms are in division with A2 minus A1. So A2 minus A1 by A1 into T2 minus T1. Clear? Right. Next, cubical expansion. Similar. Initial volume is equal to V1. Final volume is equal to V2. So change in volume is equal to V2 minus V1. Initial temperature is equal to T1. Final temperature is equal to T2. So change in temperature is equal to T2 minus T1. Change in temperature is equal to T2 minus T1. So this changed volume V2 minus V1 is depends upon the original volume, and V2 minus V1 depends upon the change in temperature T2 minus T1. So it has 1 and it has 2, right? So from these two equations I am writing as V2 minus V1 is directly proportional to V1 original volume into T2 minus T1. Clear? So I am replacing this directly proportionality and making it as an equation, the statement as an equation. So I am writing it as V2 minus V1 is equal to, here I am placing a constant, that constant is nothing but gamma into V1 into T2 minus T1, where gamma is coefficient of cubical expansion or volume expansion. Here replacing the direct proportionality with alpha, replacing the direct proportionality with beta, replacing the direct proportionality with gamma. Alpha linear expansion, coefficient of linear expansion. Beta coefficient of superficial expansion. Gamma coefficient of cubical expansion. So here I am writing that equation for gamma. Gamma is equal to V2 minus V1 by V1 into T2 minus T1. Right? So very simple. Here it is length, it is area, it is volume. Alpha is equal to L2 minus L1 by L1 into T2 minus T1. Similar, replacing the L with A. Beta is equal to A2 minus A1 by A1 into T2 minus T1. And gamma, replacing that A with B, B2 minus B1 by B1 into T2 minus T1. That's it. Alpha is equal to L2 minus L1 by L1 into T2 minus T1. Beta is equal to A2 minus A1 by A1 into T2 minus T1. Gamma is equal to V2 minus V1 by V1 into T2 minus T1. Here. So now we are writing the units. Okay. So here units. So if you subtract length from length, we got the length by length. L is nothing but length into T2 minus T1, we got the temperature. So here A2 minus A1, we got the area by area into temperature. V2 minus V1, we got volume by volume into temperature. So length and length, area and area, volume and volume cancel. So for alpha, beta and for gamma, the units are same. That is 1 by temperature, 1 by temperature and 1 by temperature. So the CGS unit for is 1 by degree Celsius. It is nothing but degrees Celsius inverse. Same. 1 by degree Celsius is nothing but degree Celsius inverse. 1 by degree Celsius is nothing but degree Celsius inverse. So CGS unit is same for all the three, alpha, beta, gamma. Coming to SI, 1 by Kelvin or Kelvin inverse, 1 by Kelvin, Kelvin inverse, 1 by Kelvin, Kelvin inverse. Right? So here I am writing for all the three. If you observe that units are same, degree Celsius inverse or 1 by degree Celsius. Here Celsius inverse is nothing but 1 by degree, that meaning 1 by degree Celsius. And SI it is Kelvin inverse. Right? Relation between alpha, beta and gamma. So alpha by 3 is equal to, gamma by 3 is equal to beta by 2 is equal to alpha by 1. That is nothing but alpha is to beta is to gamma is equal to 1 is to 2 is to 3. This is the relation. So gamma by 3 is equal to beta by 2 is equal to alpha by 1. It's also can be written as alpha is to beta is to gamma is equal to 1 is to 2 is to 3. And also that beta is equal to 2 alpha and gamma is equal to 3 alpha. Important value relation, right? So that the topic is completed. Or we will check a problem. Right. The coefficient of linear expansion coefficient of linear expansion is alpha. So coefficient of linear expansion is equal to 10 to the power minus 4 per degree Celsius. Right? Find the coefficient of cubical expansion. Gamma is equal to how much? That is the first problem. Second problem. The coefficient of linear expansion is, that means alpha is equal to 11 into 10 to the power of minus 6 per degree Celsius. Right? Then what will be the aerial expansion? Beta. Right? That is the problem. First one, alpha here, gamma we need. We know that gamma is equal to 3 alpha. Right? So that implies gamma is equal to 3 into alpha value is 10 power minus 4 per degree Celsius. And if you want to find beta is equal to 2 alpha. That implies beta is equal to 2 into 10 power minus 4 per degree Celsius. Right? The same way here, alpha is equal to 11 into 10 power minus 6. We need beta. We know that beta is equal to 2 alpha. Right? That implies beta is equal to 2 into 11 into 10 to the power of minus 6 per degree Celsius. So beta is equal to 22 into 10 power minus 6 per degree Celsius. If you want to find gamma is equal to how much? And we know that gamma is equal to 3 alpha. So gamma is equal to 3 into alpha 11 into 10 to the power of minus 6 per degree Celsius. So that implies 33 into 10 power minus 6 per degree Celsius. So direct formula. If you want to find gamma, there is a relation between gamma and alpha. Gamma is equal to 3 alpha, beta is equal to 2 alpha. That's it, right?